Hey guys, welcome back to the Days End Podcast, Season 2. We're back, better than ever. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but we are feeling good and ready to kind of bring you guys content all over again. And we're excited for the season because we're getting outside of our comfort zone. We're starting to navigate into waters that TDEP has never really navigated into before in terms of growth and marketing and that sort of thing. And with that being said, we've got a new addition to our team. Obviously, we've got Cody, myself, Will. We've got Michael Grier on the team moving forward, which you'll remember from season 1, episode 19. Michael has a background in Microsoft, working with the DOJ and engineering in terms of tech from a wide variety of angles. And so I think he's got a pretty cool skill set to bring to the table for TDEP in terms of his growth for season 2. So, Michael, what's up, man?
How's it going? Excited to be here. Thanks for the intro. Even though Cody screwed it up, but hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, dude. Cody has
have to.
a knack for doing that.
I have to. I thought it was appropriate. It's we got a new team member, so there has to be a drum roll somewhere.
But you can't say drum roll. You have to just drum roll.
I just have to do it. You
You
know
just
what we
gotta
need?
He
We need one
announced
of those
it.
buttons that has a clapping button. I'm gonna get one of those.
You know what
Oh,
is
yeah.
cool about that is Elgato's got so many cool things. Like right now, the guests can't see this, but I've got a teleprompter, so this is like helping me to maintain eye contact with you guys. And so Elgato's also got a stream deck, and I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to purchase one of those next. You can plug in all your different sources and stuff like that. So,
Nice. I
but
saw it on Facebook
guys,
Never
Marketplace
run an
today
intro again.
for $90.
a stream deck,
For 90
$90.
bucks.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Man, marketplace is like, okay, just hear me out before we like really dive into this episode. I need to get off of marketplace because there's way too many things on there that I could purchase like right now today.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. Like every pair of golf clubs, which by the way, I don't know what people are thinking. $475 for a pair of golf clubs. I mean, used. I don't know if that's like the going rate or not.
One driver, that costs $500-600 from Titleist, then there you go. 475 for a set ain't that bad anymore.
At that point, you just need the driver, right? So you're driving with the driver, you're putting with the driver, you're pitching with the driver.
At that
Dude,
point, I'm just
that
getting
is a
hockey
segment
stick. I'm
right
going
there.
Full Happy Gilmore.
That's a segment right there. Like, whoever loses a bet has to golf with the driver the entire time.
That would be. I feel like we'd probably get kicked off of a golf course doing that.
Oh,
That'd
absolutely.
be
Absolutely. But it would be hilarious, though.
Yeah. No, but guys, we are back. Season 2 of TDEP, and I just for the listeners, season 1 ended with 25 episodes. This one's going to be really chill, really relax. As we introduce ourselves back into the flow of things. We just kind of wanted to give you guys an update on what to expect moving forward, as well as maybe some outtakes or just takeaways from season 1 and some of those episodes, some of our favorites. And it's just a good time to connect back with the sources of this just really cool idea, which is TDEP. But like, what, Michael, if I could ask you a question, like, what are some of your expectations for TDEP coming on board? I mean, if you even have any, or ambitions, or like, what? Give us a little spill.
I'm trying to quit my jobs and mooch off of you guys. So,
Yeah, I could feel it, dude. The pressure was like, the
right?
pressure was there.
Listen, it's time for me to leave, and you guys have to take care of me now. No, I
Yeah,
think the cool thing about Tito, like I've been watching it from afar for a little bit now, right? And so it was something that
yeah,
was really cool, right? I love the conversations you guys are having. There's a track record that was involved in the whole thing. It wasn't something that was an idea that you guys are trying to execute. You guys had already executed on it with 25 episodes. There's a little bit of attraction. You guys had some listeners. You guys were investing in equipment. So there's a lot of stuff that was here already, right? And I wanted to know for myself was, okay, if I come in, like, where could I fit in at? Right? Where could I really take a skill set that I have and apply it to what you guys are doing and be able to have something really cool, right? Everybody has their own skill sets
Yeah, yeah,
here, which I think is really
100%.
nice, right? Because it's I have a skill set, so in like marketing and tech, right? Will, like your skill set within building out the podcast and like building it to what it is today. Cody, you coming alongside and doing the same thing as well. So like y'all skill sets, I think each of us has individual skill sets that we bring to the table that allows us not to really overlap a little bit and really come to the table with a few things. So for me, I had a 10-year career in marketing before I was even in tech, before I switched over into tech. And so
Yeah,
I'm able to bring some of that experience and what some of the programs that I've built in other companies, especially for events and things of that nature, especially events and sponsorship. Those are something that I've built out into other businesses and I've been successful at. And so I think that I can bring it to the table here too, being able to monetize what we're doing in a cool way.
I agree
yeah,
on
dude,
that.
I absolutely agree with that because already just some of the conversations we've had, sitting down at International, just kind of
Hmm.
word vomiting what TDEP could potentially be for season two. What struggles did it have for season one? Um, what does that growth look like? How long should that take? What components to implement and that sort of thing, which are cool conversations to even be at. Because I remember, 5 years ago, maybe more at this point, thinking of TDEP and it not even being a real thing, and then all of a sudden it being here and me dragging Cody into a podcast, which is always a fun thing to go back and think
Hmm.
about because Cody's got, just for the listeners, if you didn't tune into season one, Cody's got like so much stuff going on. So I even led into season two texting him going like, hey, like let's work something out that works for you, because I know that we got pretty bogged down and pretty stressed over season one, and it took a lot, obviously, from two guys that have no idea what it takes to make a podcast, and I guess now we do. It's a little harder
Hmm.
than I guess people anticipate.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very difficult. The way I saw season one is, people know me for weird analogies. I see me and Will as a couple of beavers building a dam in a river. We're building it up, and we stop that water flow. And Michael, you're that fresh breath we needed to get the water flow moving again. You crack that dam. You're the outsource, right?
Hmm.
And that's what we needed. I mean, we almost hit a road barrier, and you're just like a fresh
Hmm.
breath, new life, and you keep us moving on what you do. And we haven't even gotten to talk a whole lot yet, and that's the crazy thing about it. I feel like I already know you so much on a business level. Your skill set, like you said, in software engineering and just reaching people. That's what we needed, because we would cap ourselves out on it,
Hmm.
and I'm a better beaver than Will is, so of course I'm building quicker than him. I'm building that barrier faster than him. So
You got you got the teeth for it, brother.
I know, man. I know.
No,
Heck, I got a flat tail too, man.
yeah, no, man. I agree with what you're saying though, Cody. Michael, you've got this like really cool way of analyzing things, and it's not like over analyzing. I think you have a way of taking some of the areas that you've worked on, or experiences that you've had already, and you apply them in just enough of a way that it doesn't feel like you take somebody's idea and then just like wash it out, right? Like
Hmm.
you bring those experiences that you've had, and now it's part of your skill set, and you apply different additions to their idea, and that may look like a little bit of a racing, but there's like a whole bunch of other additions that just make it look, from a broader 10,000 like foot
Hmm.
view, like a more well-rounded establishment or company or whatever it is, podcast, whatever you might be doing. So that's what I'm like eager to really see in the next six
Yeah.
months where TDEPS is going to be, because we've not hit some of those slipstreams from a business and marketing standpoint
Hmm.
that needed to apply pressure to TDEP to grow and reach new audiences. For the most part, we're going to be honest, this is what this podcast is about. We really, I think for the most part, mainly reached our friend group. So if we can get outside of that for the season 2, touch some more lives, hear some more stories, that's kind of what TDEP is about. So I think we'll be in the right avenue.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely.
100%.
I think one thing, I like what you said, right? It's putting the right amount of pressure allows for things to happen naturally, right? It's almost like I'll use an analogy here to appease Cody. Um, so,
Speak my
and
language.
it's almost like putting air right inside of a hose to push water out and to create pressure, right? The pressure doesn't. The pressure is not always immediate, but it does come, and so we just keep putting air into the hose for the pressure to build up, so the stream of water can get a lot faster, right? And that's kind of where we're at, right? And that takes 3 months,
Yeah.
6 months, a year, 2 years. I don't know, right? I don't know what that looks like yet. But what I do know, and what I'm excited about, is building something cool. That's it,
Yeah.
right? If it's cool,
That's it.
like everything, like that's interesting, right? Like people like interesting, and if we can do that, I think we're on our way.
And there's plenty of people, especially here in the Metroplex, as we're recording this episode, we've already kind of started doing our due diligence to get some content in our archives. That way, when we come to season 1, I think, or season 2, because season 1 was just like off the rip. I think we had like one episode, and then it was the next, and it just became an overbearing experience of in real time. You had to like record an episode, which meant not just sitting down for an hour and a half and potentially having to scrap that one and do it another day or whatever it might be. But then there's like 3 to 6 hours of editing on the back end. We didn't have access to Riverside, that's like a whole nother conversation in podcast. I mean, just some of the cool AI functionality that Riverside has is making this a little easier this go around. And so I think you said it good in your initial introduction, is we each have like a piece of the pie that shouldn't cause too much tension on our daily lives. Because let's just be honest, fellas, like we still have like full-time jobs. Both of you guys do. Cody's like working 7 days a week, because he just grinds and he's a hustler, and he's always been that way for the 16 years I've known him. And so for me to go, hey dude, you got an hour to podcast, really to have your time, both of you guys. And so leading into season 2, I think some powerful stuff is going to happen because of the sacrifices that you guys are making, including myself, to go out there and capture these stories.
Agree, man. It's kind of funny, Michael. We talked about having you on board, man, and I know we've touched base kind of on it, but from season 1, from the beginning, it wasn't bad, right? But I can't tell you how many like mess ups we had, right? From the beginning, and it got better, and then it just kind of pushed through. What would you think? Like Christine's episode was the
Christine's
first episode.
definitely set it off. Yeah,
we kind of had our oh crap moment, right? We had our first live, and it was hotter than all get out in there. We didn't have any technical difficulties that time, thankfully. It went good. And Michael, I was listening to your episode actually yesterday, and even yours was a solid one. I never thought we would be here. I'm kind of straying off because I'm picking kind of apart my episodes that were my favorite, right? In our growth. The Christine and yours was probably one of the most phenomenal episodes on there, and the nature cast. I saw more growth because we were starting to experiment on what we were doing, and from there we had a bunch of terrible episodes too. So I think going forward from those 3 to now is going to be mind-boggling. So I'm thankful at that.
Yeah. Man, it was you nailed it, Cody, going back and watching episode 1 with all of those glitches on my mic. And I think I had the Mayano at the time, to adding you into episode 2 that's when we drug you in, and it kind of cleaned up episode 1 a little bit. And that's kind of became like a running joke
Yeah.
moving forward, which is like, don't start on season or episode 1, start on episode 2, right? And even now, which is wild, especially like I said, kudos to Riverside and some of this, and a lot of capital poured in from our side, money that we haven't gotten from sponsorships or anything like that we've poured in to make this equipment better, from lighting to audio interfaces to microphones to, Michael went out and like, which was like a kind of a two birds, one stone situation for you, for your type of work, for your meetings. But even you went out and invested in some like really good quality equipment, which makes a world of a difference in some of these episodes. And as we're now leading into season 2 being a not only audio based podcast, but now we're going to be all video based. We want to make sure that experience for our listeners and our watchers at this point is going to kind of be up to par. So it's just wild. Even just seeing the 3 episodes we have now in archived, 3-4 episodes we have archived, they're phenomenal comparatively.
It's incredible. It's incredible, man. That's what. And well, yeah, I'm not the best at getting it out sometimes, but I kind of hop around because it's so much info that where we were, and the perfect example is TDEP. There's a picture of Will's setup from like the very beginning of TDEP, and we thought it was so cool at the time, right? We thought it was the best thing ever, and then now that we've matured and seasoned, he has a new picture of the setup, and I'm like, man, what a ways it's come just off of that video quality. We used to podcast with the cameras off for probably seemed like the first 3 episodes. I don't even think we had the cameras on, and we were only audio.
All black screens, yeah.
We were audio only, and we were scared of each other's faces. So crazy stuff.
It is. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that kind of the progression of what you guys are doing as well, right? And so, like you said, going from that kind of first setup to what you guys are doing now, seeing the evolution of growth is motivating, but it's also like it kind of pushes you to drive more, right? Because you see it's a visual progress now, right? You visually see the progress, right? You guys went through the 25 episodes, a few of them trying to pull teeth and trying to get things together and piece things together and get things together. And then all of a sudden, like now we're here, and like almost every episode that we're doing is crisp, it's clean, it's it's how you guys were meaning it to be from the get-go, right? And so now it's like you're at the point where from here on out, like we know that there's not going to be any issues when it comes to video or when it comes to the quality of the podcast itself, right? The quality is there. Now it's up to us to deliver.
Yeah, which is like, it's so funny because it's like that's half the battle, right? All of season 1 was basically designed for, okay, in every way that we could possibly screw up, let's figure that out in season 1. And we did. Like for 25, 27 episodes, I kid you not, for the listeners, for the watchers, we have probably 50 episodes that we recorded. And so I think that's a key role where like you kind of come in on the back end side of that, Michael, which is like we figured out all the things that make a TikTok or a podcast tick in terms of equipment. But then now it's like, how do you automate distribution? How do you where do you distribute? At what time do you distribute? What avenues? Like what do you trend? Like how does a podcast even get from like being an infant, can't even walk, to now running on its own, into people's ears, into people's phones, into people's cars, into people's offices, where they start to want to listen to your podcast just about everywhere. So that's like the next challenge that we're in at this point. But the content is also, it has to be on par too, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Man, some of my favorite episodes was definitely Christine. Christine lit TDEP on fire. Still to this day is like our number 1 most viewed, most listened to podcast. Awesome. And just a sneak peek, for some of those that might be listening to this, we're about to have another episode with Christine, which is going to be even more live and even
Heck
greater.
yeah.
And yeah, we'll come full circle on some of the guests that we've had, and outreach outside of that to some new guests as well, which we've already done, Michael, you and I. So I'm stoked for season 2. I'm like on fire. The amount of hours that I've put into YouTube, watching other people's podcasts, like how they're putting together in terms of the production, like you said, it's kind of like where my head is. It's like, how can I organize my time to be more efficient with the production of the podcast, so it's not as, or it's more effortless and not as taxing on the other guests. I don't expect that out of you guys. Cody, I don't expect you to be out there writing episodes, you know what I mean? So if I can bring the content or the narrative to the episodes, we can all join and we can have this just brightened experience to jump on and
Just
listen to
talk.
people's stories.
Yep, listen to
Yeah.
stories. 'Cause that's what we thrive on. I mean, that's probably the most wholesome thing, is getting someone on and just getting to talk to them. And we already have some incredible people lined out for season 2 that's already been captured, and we're more than excited for this thing to launch from season 1 till now. And you know, we're talking about going full circle on some favorite episodes. And Will, I want to talk to you about one, because one that
Okay.
blew the door open was the Nature Cast. You
Yeah.
know, we had an idea to kind of bring podcast out and daily moves. Put people in their comfortable places. A scenario where they would feel comfortable to talk to us. And I kind of want to pick your brain on that, because I'm still kind of jealous I didn't get to go out on a boat with you, man. So what were the struggles on the back end, on the present of the time of being there, and just what was going through your head on it, man?
Dude, it was honestly, it was a beautiful morning, to go fishing. So first and foremost, I just enjoyed being out there with a good buddy fishing. Like I think
Yeah.
that was the first time I've fished in like 10 years, which is crazy to think about my life being that busy that I can't even go fish, which I probably can, right? So it's like not being by water and going, oh man, if only I was by water, but then you get up there and you're still so busy you don't go to the water, So it's always a choice we have to make
Yep.
day in and day out.
Becomes a
But
chore.
yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, it's funny because that was one of the most major purchases that I think my family had made, were those 2 sets of DJI mics. Those are $300, $350 a piece. It's almost $1,000 in microphones right there, and they're so small, and I have large hands. And so going on the boat, like my main thought was like, okay, how do I not drop these in the water, right? And
Yeah.
Greg can be very animated. He's a larger guy, and so he probably had the same fear. I think we both did. He's like, we're like babying it, trying to get it on our shirts. Is this the right position? Do we put it on a hat? So it's also the wind. So we were trying to go downwind and but at the same time fish. And so it was a struggle all around. I think TDEP had never done anything outside at the time. So we'd
Not at
never
all.
dealt with wind, never dealt with elements. We've never dealt with having to try to be portable. What does that sound like? So it was all, the best way I could describe it, right, for TDEP is, and that was the beauty of season 1. I think you guys are going to fully understand this, because I get fascinated by this stuff on YouTube, is look at an engine, like a V12 engine, right? And you look at that thing and all the components, especially when somebody starts piecing that thing apart, and you're like, what? But how did somebody come up with an idea for that many components, and how did they know that those components individually were going to work with each other? But that's the whole point. Somebody just had an idea, just like TDEP, bare bones, ground level, ground zero.
Mhm.
They had the idea. They started the footprint, and then every single day after that, every week, every year, every month, every year, was them just like making additions and then scrubbing something else. Like that didn't work, and then putting something else in until it was a full package. And TDEP is like at that point. So season 1 was, a little 4-banger, and season 2 is, we're coming up, and we might be a V8 engine at this point, because we've been able to really piece everything together into a full ecosystem, which is a podcast, self-sufficient in a way. And so I feel like the NatureCast was the golden egg that needed to take our minds outside of, the bare bones aspect of what the podcast was at the time, so we could buy the right equipment, like get the right knowledge, put the right pieces in place for our content to be as crisp as it was after that. Because if you go back and listen after the NatureCast, everything was like, I don't know if you agree, Cody, but we were clicking.
It was.
Yeah.
It was like a new chapter, right? And in that chapter, like some bad things still happened because we thought we had it down after that. Will, got these mics and we were gonna go take over the world, man, with going outdoors, and we had a botched one not too long after. We went to a brewery, great place by the way here, and great scene. Very family oriented place, and they had a perfect spot for us, but they had a event going on, and it was so loud in there. I don't even think, but we were trying so hard just to get something out. It just wasn't happening that time. So in that same chapter, we learned, we had a breakthrough, but it took us to the next level of difficulties at the time. Yeah. So it's just incredible how far it's come with the equipment on that standpoint. The camera footage as well, if compared to season 1, we weren't out there on the boat, videotaping it. Now you guys will see snippets, if we have more nature casts or getting people in their elements as go around, you'll see some footage of it.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, for people who don't know, this is the DJI. So you got these little portable mics and a receiver, right? And now it's so funny, like as we keep building pieces or like learning new things about the podcast, like you look at this, right? It looks like a standard mic, right? But you take it off and that little DJI mic fits in there, right? So now you get to put this little sock on top, basically have like a full portable like interview experience with like a desktop stand and everything like that. So it's just a fun experience. It's very costly. But at the same time, I think once you like look back at all the equipment that you have kind of laid out, especially if you take care of it, that really shows you how far you've come. Because I don't know how you guys feel. And I think I pretty much know the answer to this, but inflation has affected everyone. Everyone, right? Far and wide. And so you can't just like go out and spend $1,000 on a brand new light or like a brand new microphone or whole new setup and not be costing you going to do something else, maybe a vacation or whatever else. So, I mean, I think that not only helps us solidify how far we've come from point A to point B, but it also hopefully shows our community and our listeners, right, that we're invested in this, that we're willing to make certain sacrifices to bring a certain quality of show to their ears, right, to their screens.
We get to harass, if I could talk, harass Michael now. You get the 3 harasses.
Yeah. You can only harass me if you can say it correctly.
Yeah, right.
Oh shoot.
man, he got me. That's why he's on board here.
You ever try to like make fun of somebody and then like you screw it up and you're like, crap, never mind.
Every
That's
time
my life,
that happens all the time.
That's my life.
Oh gosh, man.
That's hilarious, man.
I'm highly anticipating this with you guys, fellas, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time to be a part of this journey.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy to be here.
Expectations for season 2, what you guys can kind of look forward to. We're still on all platforms. We'll probably still be releasing audio to all platforms just so you guys can listen instead of wanting to watch. We're going to be heavily on TikTok with shorts. We're going to be heavily on YouTube with full-blown MP4 videos, just capturing the essence of our growth. And we're going to be inside. We're going to be outside. We're going to be traveling. There's going to be more nature casts. There's going to be just a plethora of expansion, because now that we've got Michael on board and we're we just so happen that Michael and I are in the same area, which is the Metroplex, which is absolutely thriving and booming right now. We have way too much to capture. And really, honestly, it's going to be
Agreed.
on me if we don't, um, if the podcast doesn't go out and search out those types of conversations. I can't wait anymore, but I feel like you've pointed us in the right direction, Michael, with some of your assets and some of your insider knowledge and that sort of thing. And I think collectively together, we're going to be able to really target some cool places and just go attend some events that I've never
Love
even
it.
given the time to go do. And then Cody, from your perspective, man, you're doing some powerful things with Lund. From season one, you introduced that business, and now it's at a point where you guys have made money. You guys have made revenue in a certain light, and you're continuing to grow. You've had some pain, some struggles in terms of that growth process, but every great company does right at the beginning. So I feel like from your perspective in the oil field, we've got an election coming up. It's affecting both industries. We can really bring our listeners, even from this core three perspectives, a really exciting viewpoint.
Absolutely.
Great. We'll get people on that can talk. We got nothing better to do. You know what's good
Yeah.
about that too? We got elections coming up. We got inflation through the roof, but talking is for free.
Talking is
Talking
for
is
free.
free.
That
Can't
might be
beat
the
that.
label of this freaking podcast, dude. Dang it. That's your
Talking
role
is
now, man.
free. I like
Talking
it.
is free.
I'm safe out here in West Texas for all the listeners now because we have Michael on board. So each week they just have some crazy ideas over there, both being in the Metroplex, and they're just one upping each other each week. And I'm over here like, man, what's going on? I don't even have to do anything anymore. This is great. Like I just sit back here. No, it's incredible what they're doing though. The Metroplex is the hub for TDEP. It's not out of range for anywhere else, but the definition hub is there. The podcasting they're going to have going on, live podcasts, is going to be a great atmosphere. So I don't want anybody to think that we just do online because got all cylinders loaded.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're growing. One thing I like about Michael the most is like I have all these ideas every single day, and I can shoot them over to Michael via text, and he'll come back and he'll send me an emoji of or a meme of eh. He's like, no, that one's garbage. I'm like, okay.
So you're
But
trash,
but you
man.
know what? The shooting of ideas is what's awesome, man,
Yeah.
about our relationship and just being able to,
I agree.
It's
just
needed
kind of look
to.
at it from different points.
It's needed to.
Absolutely.
You got to have someone that's gonna tell you the truth and just tell you no. Like that's not it. So
Yeah, and he will.
That's what we need. Yeah.
He'll go absolutely not.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Are you? What are you smoking today?" And I'm like, "Bro, that
Man.
sounded like a good idea in the sauna." And he's like, "No."
No, man. You know the biggest thing for me is I didn't have a lot of people growing up not growing up I think growing up in the sense of my entrepreneurial like endeavors, like people actually telling me yes or no, right? You can't tell friends, you can't really tell family because they're always going to be on your side, right? They're always like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, or oh, I can't wait for you to do that. You should absolutely do that. But they have like literally zero insight to if it'll even work or not, right? And so having
Yeah.
somebody like in your corner to go, you know what? I went down that road. Don't do it. Or, hey, I did go down that road. Do it. Like that's a good road to go down, right? And so being able to take experiences and like help people and guide people down. You know, one of the biggest things was I was buying all my equipment, right? I had no idea what I was buying. What I would have bought probably wouldn't have been well, you've been down this road, right? And you're like, no, this is what you need.
Yep.
Cool. I can do the same thing. Hey, this is what we need, right? Cody, this is what we need, right? And so
Yeah.
every one of us have been down a road that each one of us haven't been down yet, right? And so being in that space, being in that place alone, like that's kind of where we
Write that
are.
down.
You know, we're all traveling in the same direction, but each of us are kind of ahead in our own respects, in our own skill sets. And so that just allows us to go, hey, like, went down this road, let's not do it. Hey, Cody, like, Michael, I went down this road, don't go this way, right? Like, this isn't going to work out because of this, and this happened, right? We're all there to kind of show us the way to go, so that way, nobody veers off, because you always got that one person, right? Who, if that person veers off, it screws everything up.
Yeah.
Because you're going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I told you not to take a right.
Yeah. What was this?
And so
I just got back from Florida, man, and that's what reminds me of the Blue Angels, man. Mm-hmm. They fly as one.
That's right.
Sorry, I'm nerding out on the Blue Angels right now, but they fly as one. If you watch them, they fly as one plane. That's like their whole deal, man, and that's how we move as a podcast. We're only as good as the person right next to us. So
there we go.
We move as a team.
Absolutely. And it's imperative that happens, right? It's imperative that happens, right? Moving as a team, everybody's in sync, right? Just as waves are in the ocean, that's how we move as well, right? And we don't crash into each other. Waves crash into each other, but we won't use that analogy. But so it's but everybody has to move in sync.
It's better than my Beavers.
Yeah, well, I'm low key. I'm kind of upset that you didn't include me as a Beaver, but we'll talk about that offline.
River, man, you're the flowing river, man. You're the flowing river. Me and Will are the goofy Beavers, man.
Yeah. Oh man, that was really well put. Really well put, Michael. Man, dude, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to get
awesome.
The ball rolling.
Same.
Man, let's go. Season 2, TDEP. Back in your homes, taking over the podcasting scene. So
yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.